This next one here is one of our big blends. It's called Passionné. And
Passionné.
this is one that's a really fun one to make because a lot of the creativity takes place on the blending side.
And what's the blend in there?
Every year it's a little bit different. So behind the 15 different finished wines that we have, in an individual year it might have 50 different lots. So you have all this complexity, and we go and choose kind of the best lots.
What do you mean lots?
So we may break down a vineyard into, like here's an example: Fleury, Rutherford, Merlot. Last year we picked in 3 different picks, even though it's all the same block. One time we picked a little area that was kind of dehydrating, and then we picked half of the block, the morning side, and then we also picked the afternoon side a couple weeks before that. So we ended up fermenting all 3 separately, and then we went to barrel. There are 3 very different wines, or let's just say they're different wines.
And then what's the varietal in here again?
So the Passionné, the blend on this one is about 50% Cabernet Sauvignon, and then more or less equal parts Merlot, Cab Franc, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. So all 5 of the
Bordeaux.
Traditional red Bordeaux varieties.
Yeah. Esse meritage aqui que é espetacular. Você tem todas as uvas de Bordeaux, mas num meritage californiano. Então ele tem essa característica um pouco mais da fruta, um pouco mais amadurecida. Não é tanto mineral, tanta terra, tanto. I'm trying to explain to them, how you accomplish that. In my personal opinion, I love the wines that have that. The 5 grapes of Bordeaux. It's a Bordeaux blend, but here in California, because you get a little more of the New World style, a little more fruit forward. Not sometimes, you don't have that earthiness, right up front. No, it hits you like that. It's a little more fruit friendly, in my opinion, too. It's easier to pair it with food as well.
Yeah, I think this is this is definitely reflective of our style and of California. But yeah, we're looking in some senses to that model of Bordeaux, using
which is a trend
traditional
too, right?
blends or grape varieties, and it's not just we're doing it for the sake of doing it. It's that we're really looking for each component to come in and bring something to the table. So, for example, in 06, we didn't use Cabernet Franc as part of the blend, and we're not necessarily married to the fact that in 08 the blend will be even remotely similar, but we want the wine to have, there's a theme to the wine, and it's this elegant yet powerful Napa red blend.
And just showing the public in Brazil, what are the 5 grapes that you use on a Bordeaux? What are they again?
Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. We're going over to one of our barrels. This is a wine from 2008.
O que ele está fazendo aqui é geralmente o que ele faz com o público dele. A gente vai fazer a prova de vinhos direto do barril. Quantas vezes você vai ter oportunidade de fazer isso?
So
what do you call that
this
device
tool
again?
is called a thief. And
a thief, just like
you're stealing wine from the barrel.
É o ladrão, ele chama esse, eu não sei se no Brasil é o mesmo nome, mas aqui eles chamam de ladrão.
And so this is a wine, very special wine. It's from our Howell Mountain Vineyard. It's 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. And to me, this is a very pure expression of mountain Cabernet. We sell out of this wine very, very quickly. This is going to be gone before we even bottle it this year.
What year is this?
So this is 2008, so it's been in barrel since, let's say, November of 08.
Okay, so let me explain this to them.
Yep.
So how does that work? That wine is is going to be released as a 2008,
right? So that means that's when the grapes were picked.
Okay.
The grapes were picked in October of 2008. They were fermented. That took, let's say maybe a month at most. And then the wines went down to barrel and have been aging in barrel since that time.
How long does it stay in a barrel? There's 2 years so far, right?
Here, there's no one recipe. We taste continually,
it, okay.
But typical for this wine is about 22 months in oak. So kind of 18 to 24.
22 meses in oak, que é o carvalho. That's French oak or just
French oak.
Yeah.
And so
Carvalho francês.
At this point, it's been in there about a year and a half. and we're going to bottle this in late August or early September.
A vantagem da gente estar nesse vinhedo aqui é que é um vinhedo pequeno. Então, o que vocês estão olhando aqui é a produção deles. Então, vocês imaginam isso. Por isso que o vinho dele custa de 85, de 50 dólares até 170 dólares para eles. Quer dizer que num restaurante vai começar um vinho de 50 dólares, eles vão voltar a vender mais ou menos 150 dólares por aí, para vocês terem uma noção. Geralmente, o restaurante cobra 3 vezes mais do que ele compra o vinho deles, né? E a gente está tendo uma oportunidade única.
This one, this sells for $175 a bottle.
Esse é 175 dólares a garrafa. Imagina isso, a gente está com ele é o cara que faz o vinho, ele é que prova o vinho, ele que está provando o vinho agora e que vai dizer se o vinho está pronto para ser lançado ou não. Se ele so basically, if you taste the wine now, you say, okay, it's not ready yet. You're the one that decides.
That's one of the real advantages of being small like this, and you know, when you get to be big, you get, you know, forced to make a plan that you kind of have to stick to. It becomes more recipe driven.
You know, I think out of all the wines that we tasted, this is, to me, is the one that it's got a little earthiness to it. You know, it's more, it stands out, the earthiness to it than the other ones.
Yeah, that earthiness to me is very indicative of Howell Mountain.
É maravilhoso. Se você gosta de um Cabernet bem encorpado, esse Cabernet é o Cabernet bem encorpado, feito na Califórnia. Então vai ter aquela característica de mundo novo, aquela característica da fruta bem na frente do vinho. Mas fantástico. So, where are we?
So,
what do you do here?
This little area is kind of multi-purpose for us. We sometimes do larger groups in here, but also this is where we blend the wines. So what we're doing here, these are all kind of mixture of empty and full bottles that we're filling. This is actually every single lot that we currently have in-house right now.
And how does that process work? So what do you mean, like?
Yeah.
Because what I wanted to tell them is, what do you mean by blending the wine? How does that process work?
Yeah. Well, what we're doing here is basically checking in on each of the individual lots. So this is something that we do, you know, let's say once a month, is taste them all comparatively. But when we're getting ready to blend, what we're doing is looking to, you know, kind of move forward in the maturation of the wine to a point where it's going